making these cute little zipper bags. It's designs by Juju, and I'm using this cute little Sally and Jack material. The design I'm using, again, is Designs by Juju Easy Zipper Bag 2 in the hoop instructions. I'm going to be making the one in the small hoop today for the 4x4 bag. And it says you will need 1 piece of cotton fabric cut 5 inches wide by 6 inches long, and 1 piece of cotton 5x4, and another piece of cotton 5x5. You're going to need 2 of those, and a zipper. So I'm going to cut these first. First, I'm going to cut my longer piece, 5 inches wide by 6 inches long. Okay, so there's my first piece, and then my second piece needs to be 5 inches wide by 4 inches long. I am actually just going to leave it at 6 inches here because it's all going to come off in the end. So I'm just going to save myself a little bit of time. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I like to save my scrap pieces because of the waste. So I use them, lately I've been using them to make little stuffed animals, and I will show you how I do that in a future video. So here's 2 pieces, and then you will need 2 5x5 pieces, and this is for the back of your piece that you're going to make. So for this, I like to just save a little bit of time, and I am going to not follow the instructions exactly, so I'll show you how I do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I like to make these fast, so I'm going off of the instructions just a little bit. I won't use like a seam of steam, or I won't use a you know, the invisible seam on the inside. I'm not going to hand sew the inside. I am just going to cut everything, sew it all the way around at the end to just make it a little faster. So I can make a lot of these. So I'm making some of these for gifts. So I'm going to bring all of these pieces over here to the side, and you want to use Sticky Tearaway. The first time I did this, I wasn't really paying attention, and I ended up using Cutaway, which was a bad idea because then I had to cut it all away after I finished the project. So for this first one, I'm going to use my Viking Husqarvana Topaz 40 machine. Just need to close this because I'm not going to hoop anything inside. I'm just going to use the sticky backing, and I don't like to waste any of this as much as possible. I try not to waste. I think most of us are like that. Okay, now I'm just going to cut it right here, and And for these, I only use these scissors for cutting like paper. And I save my fabric scissors just for fabric. And you want to peel off this sticky backing. So my plan for future is on Fridays, I will do a tutorial or a work with me every other Friday. I did a couple in the past and I'm going to try to be more regular with that now. So here is my hoop and the sticky backing and my fabric pieces. And I'm going to use this black zipper. I got this little bag of zippers on Amazon. I think there were 25 of assorted fun colors, and I've used a few already. So I'm going to bring this to the embroidery machine now. And I need to show you where I'm at here. So I have this on the back. I'm going to move it to the front in just a second. Here we go, all around. I've already loaded my design onto my, there you go. I've already loaded the design onto my Topaz 40. Let me get a better look here. Let me give you a little bit better lighting. Okay, this bag is so fun to do. Oops, okay, hang on, I gotta go back again. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. I'm going to go into my folders and I'm going to select that one. Gotta hold it down for a little bit. There it is. There's my design. I'm going to go grab my hoop now and all of my supplies. So when you're doing this, you really need to be sure you're following all of the instructions, especially with the zipper, because if you don't, you're going to hit your zipper on your needle, which is bad. And I did that yesterday by accident. So follow the instructions very carefully. I'm going to insert this into my machine here. Oh, actually, I'm not going to do that. First, I have to hit go. And this comes with a little stylus. Hit go. And it's just saying now that I attach my hoop. It was calibrating. Okay, so now my hoop is in and I'm going to click my check mark here. Now it's all ready to go. It's going to lay down the outline first and I hit my start button. Now what it's doing is it's laying down the outline for the zipper. So the next step is going to be putting down the zipper right here. The zipper pull is here outside the line of stitching. So that's what I'm going to do next. Here's my zipper and here's my zipper pull. And I'm going to put it right over here. And then what you want to do is you want to tape it down with some Scotch tape. But you don't want to Scotch tape it too hard or else it'll be really difficult to remove. So taping this side down and that side down. And now I'm going to do my next step. This is going to tack down the zipper now. You want to make sure you're using a nylon zipper for this. Now the next thing you're going to do is take your 5x4 piece of fabric and you're going to fold it in half. So it's going to make a 2-inch folded piece. And you're just going to put that aside. And then you're going to get your 5x6 piece and fold it in half. And you could see which way it orients if you even want to make sure that these line up or match, you could do that. I'm not very concerned about things matching, but some people like to do that. So I folded everything. Now I'm just going to lay it down here. And I'm going to lay it down on here. And I am going to change this red thread now because I don't want it to show red. I'm going to use a black thread. I have this spool holder that I really, really love. You can kind of see it in the back picture area there, the frame. And I'm just threading. Okay, once those are laid down, you want to make sure that you tape everything in place so it won't move around when you're trying to tack everything down. So I'm just moving the zippers, moving. There we go. There we go. And now I'm going to tape it down. And I'm going to take off this piece of tape that's holding down the zipper on the back. And I accidentally did this again. I forgot to take out the the little tack down stitch. I forgot to move the zipper down again. Gosh, I always do that. I remembered like one time, I just forget. Okay, so now I have to cut out this little tack down in the back here. Because you need to make sure that you're not going to hit your zipper pull. I'm just trimming it off the back here. Okay. So in this number 3 step, what it's going to do is it's going to tack down the zipper and it is going to outline the case. So we want to make sure that we stop the machine at about 3/4 and then pull the zipper down more so that it won't hit your zipper pull. Then you won't have to be busy pulling things out again. Oops. Okay, that looks good. So again, I need to be sure that this is going to not hit. And I'm going to start and just watch where it goes because it could be kind of fast. So I'm just checking to see. And it's tacking down my fabric. I'm stopping it here because I do not want this to get ruined. I should have let it go through all of that tape first. So I'm going to keep my hand on this button close here. There, looks like it's all done there. Now I'm going to peel this piece of tape back and pull my zipper down so that it doesn't hit. There we go. Now I'm going to start it again. And I'm going to wait for it to come all the way around. Past this piece of tape, and then I'm going to stop it again. And I'm going to pull the zipper up and out of the way so that we don't have trouble with the needle hitting. I did break a needle yesterday because I did that and I was really upset with myself. So there we go. Now I'm going to start it again. Make sure everything's nice and flat. Okay, now it's outlining all the way around. I'm trying to just make sure everything's nice and flat so nothing gets all bunched up anywhere. Okay, so you could put an additional zipper tab or ribbon tab if you want for a key ring. I am not doing that. Now the next part is you're going to use the one piece of cotton fabric cut 5 inches wide by 5 inches long. That is this piece. I'm taking a little bit of a shortcut. So what I did is I just folded this in half, and this is going to be the back of your case. If you want it to be a little heavier, like thicker, what you could do is you could put in some you know, sticky backing if you like. I am not doing that on this one. I feel like the double layer is enough. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, oops, trim that off, and I'm going to put this down. And before I do that, I want to make sure that I am putting a little bit of this fabric adhesive on so it sticks together and doesn't bunch around or move around. And I'm going to put a little on this side that is going to stick down on the front part of my zipper pouch right here. And I'm going to just cover this up and stick it together. Okay, now I'm going to hit start again. And we're almost done. See how fast and easy this is? This is like a really fun, easy, great little project to do when you just don't have that much time. I made a couple of these yesterday, and the first time I made it was about 2 days ago. Okay. I don't know why it skipped a step. Usually it leaves open this bottom, so I must have done something to the pattern piece. So I need to take some stitches out here. I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to raise this up a little bit. Okay, so what it did before is it left the bottom open here so you could turn it inside out. So I don't know why it did that. I'm just going to rip some of these seams out here. It just seemed to kind of skip ahead. That's really weird. And as you can see, that's not much of a stitch outline around. So I'm just going to bring that to my sewing machine and stitch all the way around. So it is a little more reinforced. These stitches are a little hard to see because they're black, and a lot of this material is black. But you do need a space for it to turn. I did alter one of, or a couple of these, because I put some names on a couple of the ones that I made. So I don't know what happened there. I'm sure it was me somewhere along the way. Okay, I'm just ripping these seams out. And because I'm tugging and pulling on this so much, I don't really want to put this back in here because my seams will be off by quite a bit since I tugged and pulled on it a lot. Okay. Now, that looks good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull this off of the back of my hoop. And this is the project. You're going to take off this paper backing that you don't need and trim away all of these extra threads. So when you do this, when we turn it the other way, we are going to want to sew down a little so that when you flip it inside out, and I'll show you what I mean in a little bit, it just has a nicer edge. You could tell in here when I had the red in, it wasn't threaded very well. You could see all these little loose pieces. And then when I used the black and I threaded the black, it looks a lot nicer. So let me just finish trimming all of these threads. Have you used any of these in the hoop embroidery projects from any of the designs or designers? I'd like to hear about it in the comments and which companies you like to use. When you open your zipper pouch, this area really shows. So you want to make sure that it looks nice. I'm just going to take this extra piece of backing off here. The stabilizer, you don't want to push it down too hard, just because it does make it a little harder to remove when your project is complete. So this little tack down stitch on this side came off really easily when it was red, which is really nice. If you want a really nice looking finished edge, you could, cover this end piece with some fabric maybe and fold it over and just, or use some satin ribbon or something to make it look a little more finished. I'm not going to do that, but you definitely can. I don't think that's in their instructions, but if you just want the inside to look really nice, you could do that. So I want to get rid of as much of these little hanging threads as possible so they don't get caught up in the zipper, because that's always really annoying when that happens. My son asked me to make him a little pouch, so I will be doing that today. So here's the fun part. You get to turn it inside out and take a look at it. And take off your tape or Scotch tape. I do have a turning tool, but I'm a little lazy to get it right now. So there's the top. And then with the bottom, you'll see how it flips over really nicely. Looks so cute. Looks like that. And how we're going to hide all that is we're going to turn this now inside this way. And I am going to sew this together with my sewing machine. But this can all be done in the hoop or use the steam a seam. I'm not doing that. I'm going to use my sewing machine. So I am just going to point over that away so you could watch me do that. And I'm just going to follow along the lines that were on the project as a guide. Back stitching, and I'm just following, making sure everything is nice and even. Back stitching. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to use my pinking shears all the way around, and I'm going to trim off the extra part of the zipper. Here's my little container to catch my little scrap pieces that I'll use for stuffing something, like a stuffed animal. There's a cute little in the hoop bunny I bought, I think it was a bunny, on Designs by Juju. It's an in the hoop project that I plan on doing and posting a video on this channel for Easter. My 5-year-old, he really loves stuffed animals still, so I think it would be nice for him to have a nice little stuffed animal that I made for him for Easter. Okay, so let me just trim that a little closer. Okay, there we go. So here's the inside, and I'm just flipping it inside out now. And I'm poking out the sides here, trimming off the extra thread. There you go. That is so cute. I got some of the red thread in there from the first time when I accidentally sewed in the zipper. So be sure you don't do that like I did. Okay, there's the little zipper pouch. You could also press it. There, one little zipper pouch. So if you want this to look, you know, centered or any certain way you want it to be, you want to make sure that you line this all up right inside the outline. Okay, so there's one. I'm going to go make another one. It's a different fabric. So my son was asking for a soft one, so this next one I will be making out of flannel. And I don't know, again, what happened to that design. I'm going to go back here and see what happened. going to go back because, like I said, I don't know what happened to this design. And I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, now I'm going back. I'm going into my files and I'm going to try a different one. No, that looks like the right one. I don't know what happened there. I might have pushed something so it skipped a step. That's the only thing I could think of. Okay, so back to my cutting table. Here we are. These are like some of my little scrap pieces of a stabilizer I have yet to use, and we'll try to piece some of them together. Sometimes when you need like a little extra piece, I save those for that. This is the flannel material. Super cute. I'm going to cut it by 6 inches. I'm just going to get all my pieces now. Like I was saying, I really like to make this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as fast as I can. So I am taking a few little shortcuts here and there. Now I'm going to find a zipper that will match. Here, I'll use this light blue zipper. And we're going to put some sticky backing on. And with this sticky backing, I have two little pieces that are kind of like not a full piece, but I'm going to put them together so that it will make a full piece. I'm using my Viking Husqarvana Topaz 40, and this hoop is like a 100 by 100, but on here it says 120 by 120. But for the design, it is 100 by 100 or a 4 by 4. So I want to make sure that this is going to stick down and not have any bumps. And tearing off this little piece here, and I'm going to stick it here to make a full hooping. So there it is. Now back to the machine. I have all my pieces and my zipper. here again. I'm going to change my thread color as well. I'm gonna trim that off, pull this out, get rid of my trash here. And this time I will do my best to not put the zipper in like I did this last time. Okay, let's go find a pretty blue that matches. So I don't know about you, but I just love looking at all the pretty colors of the different embroidery threads. I think this one matches pretty well here in some of that. So that one does too. I think this one's better. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one. Bring this a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. And now I'm going to open this thread. I'm going to put it on my thread spool holder. There are just so many colors to choose from. It's like one of the really fun things about embroidery is there are so many different things you could do to make it your own. Okay, so I have that. I'm threading it now. And I'm pulling on it to make sure it has a good tension. Now I'm going to thread my needle. Checking, see if I have enough bobbin thread down there. I like to use pre-wound bobbins. It's just so much easier. Okay, now I'm going to start my design. I'm gonna hit go over here. I'm going to calibrate. Now it's going to ask me to insert my hoop. Putting that in. Okay, everything's down just right. Nothing's going to get stuck in the back or the front or bump anything. And now I'm going to hit checkbox, and now it's going to start. Okay, so after it stitches all the way around with my placement stitch, it's going to have me put down my zipper. My zipper ready, and looking for my tape. Oh, here it is. Okay, I need my tape and my zipper. That's going to lift up, and we are going to put down your zipper. And that should have trimmed. I don't know why that didn't trim. Okay, so now I'm going to put down the zipper, and you want to follow. It still didn't trim. That's weird. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to make sure that I place this on the right spot. I'm also getting ready because I'm going to make a lot of these for my pop-up that I will be doing. One of my friends does a lot of pop-ups, and I need to create some inventory for that. So I'm going to have a couple of machines going at the same time. Okay, now I'm going to stop this here because remember last time what happened, I didn't pull down my zipper and then I had to cut out everything, which was no fun. So I'm just taking this down so that I won't have that problem again. Okay, there you go. Okay, now I'm going to stop it again. Okay, I'm going to hit it again, but I want to make sure that's not going to hit my zipper. That would be bad. There, I'm zipping that up. Okay, now I am going to hit start again. Okay, I'm going to move my zipper pull now towards the middle so I won't have any more problems there for now. And I'm going to hit start again. Okay, so now the next part is we are going to put down these pieces at the top and at the bottom. This is the smaller side, and in this one I'm going to see if I could try to line up the pattern. That I think would be cute. So here I'm lining up the pattern and we'll see how that looks on the actual project. And we're going to put some tape down. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to hit start again. I'm just going to stand by here because I want to make sure I'm not going to hit my zipper again. It's getting closer, it's getting closer. Okay, now I'm going to stop it and I'm going to pull my zipper down. Because I do not want it to have a problem here. Okay, starting it again. And then I'm going to stop it again so it doesn't run into my zipper here. I'm pulling it all the way up and out of the way. Oops, my tape is in the way here. Okay, putting it down again in a second, just making sure everything lines up nice and straight. Okay, now it's outlining all the way around and I want to make sure everything is nice and straight. No bumps. Oh shucks, it didn't quite reach all the way at the bottom. So what I will have to do is when I sew this, I'm going to have to curve it a little bit more towards the bottom here so that it outline so that it covers up that little mistake that I made. I think I was supposed to use this piece on the top and this piece on the bottom, but you know, sometimes we make mistakes when we're doing these sorts of things. So now I am going to put this piece on the outside. And I know what happened last time. What I did is I took this shortcut, and I should have done it the way it had recommended, because it wants you to do things a certain way. So this is the backing of the inside of the pouch, and I'm just going to trim this thread off. Okay, so that's okay. So this goes right over here. And I'm going to hit start. Make sure it clears that little hole. After you do that piece, then you're going to spray the right side of the fabric, it says, with fabric spray and place with the right side down. But when I did this the other time, it did not work correctly. So what I am going to do is I'm going to put it the right way. And it did it again. I don't know why it's doing that, because last time it left a little opening at the bottom. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Like I said, same thing. It happened again. I might have to reload this pattern. Okay. So now I'm going to have to trim those out. Okay, so I'm taking this out, and I need to cut these off. So I'm going to get my little seam ripper here. And just trim these, cut these out. Gosh, don't you hate seam ripping? I really do. It is like no fun. And then you think you learn from making a mistake and fixing it, only to find sometimes you do it again. Does that ever happen to you? Okay, so I'm going to try and open that up. Actually, on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it like this, because this is for my son, and he is 5, and I think he will be just as happy with one that is not lined on the inside as anybody else, so I think he'll just be happy to have a little pouch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off all the backing, take it out of the hoop, and I'll show you what that looks like. I'm also going to use my pinking shears all the way around and cut off the rest of the zipper that I do not need. I was also going to show you how this works in my PE 800 right here, but I don't think I have enough time for that today, because after I show you how this one turned out, I will be signing off from my live today. And then I'm also going to show you how I'm going to fix this little mistake that I made at the bottom. And if you don't have an embroidery machine that you can do this in the hoop project with, zipper pouch that you can make, and you just need to, you know, round the edges, place your zipper, use your zipper foot on your sewing machine, and I will show you how to do that in one of my future videos. I plan on doing that. So in case you don't have an embroidery machine and you're not able to use this pattern from Designs by Juju, you could still make it yourself using a sewing machine. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in learning how to make a zipper pouch like this just on your sewing machine. Yeah, it's kind of hard to remove the stabilizer off of flannel, but this is what my 5-year-old likes. He likes soft material. So I'm just trying to pick all this off. It's so hard. Okay, I'm almost done. Getting there. Have a little piece of black thread left from something, I don't know what. I didn't use any black thread. It probably was on the material. Okay, trimming off all the extra threads because we don't want those getting caught in the zipper. I got all my little pieces of trash I need to put away. There we go. And I'm going to trim all the way around. So I'm using my sewing scissors. I'm not going to use these to cut that off. I'm going to just trim here before I trim with my pinking shears. I think a lot of people are kind of scared to sew on a zipper. I remember sewing on a zipper in my home ec class, and it was like such a big deal back then, but it really isn't. It's not that hard, and you don't have to be scared at trying new things. I sell material, and I had somebody who thanked me for the beautiful material, and she said she doesn't know how to sew, and she just loves looking at the material, and she is so afraid to cut into it. And I gave her some ideas on what to do with the material. And she said when she's brave enough, she will cut into it. And I think that is, you know, a fear a lot of us have, because you don't want to mess up your material. But there's always more material. You could always get more material. And if you're really, really worried about messing up your material, then buy some material that isn't very expensive so you practice on it. In my home ec class that, you know, I took for the first time with sewing, you had to practice on dots. Like we had to practice on dots without thread on paper, just with the needle, so we can learn how to sew straight. And we had to do a lot of that before we actually got to sew with material. So I think that's a really good way to get used to using your sewing machine and to learn how to sew straight lines. I bought a seam guide for my daughter when she was getting into sewing, and unfortunately she doesn't have enough time because she's in college and has a lot of studying to do. But I sent her away with this machine, and then when she brought it back after that semester was over and she was home for break and she didn't use it, I said, what happened? And she's like, I just don't have time. So hopefully she will have time to use it when she's not so busy with school. She made a lot of really cute hats. You know, that year that COVID started, she got really into sewing, and she even made herself a top. But, you know, I think if you have a project that you're working on and you feel like you don't have enough time to sew, you could just, you know, do it in little steps. I think it can be hard and challenging to sew when you don't have like a designated sewing space where you can just have it laid out there all the time. I used to just have things out on my dining table before I had my own designated space here in my little craft room. Okay, so here it is. I'm going to flip it inside out, and we can take a look and see how this one turned out. Oh, that zipper is kind of hard to get going. Oh. I think next time what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the zipper down a little further so that it'll be easier to unzip. Okay, here we go. Flipping it inside out. It's like the big reveal. Here it is. The Designs by Juju Design also recommends that you press. Oops, like I forgot here. I was telling you I forgot to, I made a boo-boo there. I was supposed to, oh, and this is on one of these edges, so I might just use the seam esteem here. Steam a seam. I just get tongue twisted there. I think it fell at actually a decent spot, so it's not going to look bad if I just do it right there. So you could watch how I do that. Okay. I think he's going to be happy with it. What do you think? If you were 5, would you be happy to put something in there? See, when I took off the stabilizer, my sticky stabilizer, it pulled up a lot of the thread there. So he's not going to care though. But note to self, I shouldn't use flannel again for these kinds of projects because that doesn't look good. It's not a good look. But here's a little zipper. Isn't that cute? It's so cute. Okay, so now I'm going to use my steam a seam. I'm going to bring this over here. And I'm going to turn on my little mini iron here. It's from Cricut. Isn't that adorable? Okay, and this is a shirt that I made for him for Valentine's. And I'm going to go grab my Steam a Seam 2 double stick fusible tape. Bonds permanently when ironed. Opening that up. Okay. Gotta get this little piece going here. It's not that easy to get off. And this side seems sticky. This is not coming up. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put off a little piece. I gotta find my paper scissors. I can't find paper scissors, but I do have this. I call it my paper rotary cutter. So I'm going to use this to cut a little piece of that off. Next, I'm going to attach this on the inside and take off this little backing. It's the paper, yeah, that's the paper side. And then there's a sticky side. And I'm going to put it as close to the edge as possible here. And I'm hoping it will do a decent job on flannel. I've had some problems working with flannel before, certain techniques that I've tried. Okay. Like I said, you could always, try again. You could always use your fabric, little scraps up, save them. So many people make cute, cute fabric quilts out of all kinds of scraps. It says to do it for 20 seconds. This is pretty thick, so I'm doing a little longer. Oops, I dropped it. And do the back too, even though that's closer. Just flipping that inside out. See if I could make sure that it stays on. So I'm just going to hold it there for about 20 seconds. Okay, I think it's going to look nice now. Oh, no, it did not look nice. Where did it go? It's just like, oh, you know, I think there's more fabric or backing on this side too. I think I have to peel that off. This is my first time using this seam esteem. There, yes, I do have to peel that off. Okay, because there's this on both sides. Okay, now that just started lifting, so I need to try to get this side off. Hopefully I could get it off. But it looks like one side of the glue really adhered very, very well. This side hopefully will, once I push this all together. I'm going to try to hide that the best I can inside here. There. I think that'll look nice. Let me just push this little piece out. Okay, let's try that. So 20 seconds again. Here we go. And then I'm going to press the other side. I'm going to flip it inside out again. I'm going to be really careful with that as I'm turning it inside out. And my glue is under this panel. So I'm going to just turn the whole thing out and just press it again here. When you're crafting in your craft room or your workspace, does it always get like super messy, like so fast? Like you wonder like how did this happen so fast? I always wonder that, and then I have to work at cleaning up everything after. I think you just get so caught up in what you're doing that you just like forget to put things away like that. Okay, let's see. Let's see how this turned out now. Okay, so here it is, and it's starting to get, you know, sticky, but it's not quite sticky enough. So I'm going to try and press this some more from this side again, and I'll just kind of leave it on there for a while. I just don't want to burn my material. While that's happening, I am going to start cleaning up my workspace some more. Okay, hopefully it does a good job this time. Let's check it out. Let's check that out this time. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Oops. Oh, I ripped it. That was a little too close. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to bring this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew all the way around here because that was just so close. moving here. I'm going to change this up to a zigzag stitch. I'm just going all the way around here at the bottom where I made my little mistake. Okay, I'm going to go back around again. And again. Okay, and now I'm going to go back with a straight stitch to just make it look nice and even around those edges there. Okay, so I had to back stitch a little. And I'm just going along the upper edge of that little zigzag stitch. Okay, and I went outside of that seam so I could back stitch. Okay, now let's see how this turned out. Hopefully that's much better. Oh, it still did it right there. Well, I have my seam esteem right there. That's actually okay. I'm okay with that. So if you've made some mistakes while sewing, what did you do to try and fix them? I'd like to know. Please let me know in the comments below. There it is. There's a little pouch for my little guy. I think he's gonna love it. Thanks for watching.